Greetings everyone, I am Bhargavi Trivedi and today we are going to discuss properties of water, which is the part of paper PT 101, The Living World, and Unit 1, Origin of Life. Please watch the entire video for the better understanding of the topic. Now, before jumping for the topic, let's discuss about the water's polarity itself. Okay. So, as you know that when you talk about the water molecule is when you talk about this oxygen atom, when you talk about the oxygen atom, it has 6 electrons in its outermost cell. And when you talk about this hydrogen atom, then it has 1 electron only. This hydrogen, this another one, has also 1 electron only. So what will happen eventually is, out of the 6 electrons that the oxygen is having in its outermost cell, 1 electron it is going to be shared with this hydrogen and they are going to form a bond. Now sharing of bond whenever takes place, then that type of bonding is known as the covalent bonding. Again here, one of the electron of the oxygen is going to take part with with 1 electron of the hydrogen. So again there is a sharing of electron that is taking place, and again this type of bonding is known as covalent bonding. Now remember, in the water molecule itself, okay, we are having the intramolecular covalent bonding, okay, because it is taking place between the oxygen and hydrogen. Now let's talk about the another water molecule. Okay, so now the oxygen is left with the 4 more electrons because they have not participated still here. So these 4 more electrons, they are going to pair one lone pair of electron, and this is the second lone pair of electron. Now due to this lone pair of electron, this is slightly negative and the hydrogen are having slightly positive charge. That's why we say that the water is a polar molecule, because they have the net dipole moment which is not zero. If the molecule is polar, then always remember that it is having some of the dipole moment. Okay, is it clear to here? Now let's move forward now. Now, because of this partial negative charge that the oxygen is having because of this lone pair, it is going to attract the weaker molecules. Okay, having the positive charge. So when you talk about the another hydrogen molecule, this is having the positive charge. So they are going to feel weak force of attraction towards this oxygen molecule, and this type of bonding, because it is involved, there is involvement of the hydrogen molecule, it is termed as hydrogen bonding. Okay, and here the why the weak attraction is taking place, because your oxygen is partially negatively charged. Okay, and it is not necessary that hydrogen bonding is only taking place with the oxygen molecule. Remember, in case of hydrogen chloride, HCl, Cl again is a highly electronegative, so it is going to pull some other hydrogen bond of other HCl molecule, and there they can also form the hydrogen bonding. So I hope hydrogen bonding and the concept of covalent bonding sorry, inside the water molecule is clear. Now, once you have understood it, let's move forward discussing the main properties of the water. Okay. The first thing that you have to remember that the water has a cohesive property. Now, what do you understand by the word co? So, co always means together. Okay, they are going to be together. So, uh, attraction of the molecules for other molecules of the same kind. Water molecules being attracted to the another water molecules, so it is known as, it is having the cohesive property. Now, what is the importance of this cohesive property? You have seen a leaf and there is a water drop formation over here. Now, if water cannot interact with each other, then the water, they are going to get slide and There will never be ever formation of the water droplets molecule. So, because of the excessive hydrogen bonding, as you can see in the figure, that is taking place between the different water molecules, they are going to remain stuck towards each other. That's why this property is playing a key role in the water's one of the water's life supporting property. Now, the next property is what that is water is having adhesive property. Adhesive means to stick. Okay, so adhesive, but here we are not talking about water molecules itself sticking to each other. We are discussing that water as a adhesive property. That means water can stick to some other surface also. For example, as you can see in the mirror, it is a glass or it is a mirror. The water is not just sliding down; it is getting stick. Okay, water molecules they are getting stick onto the surface of the mirror. So such type of properties it is known as the adhesive properties. Now, what is the main role of cohesive and adhesive properties when it comes to the biology? Why it is so important to have the water and adhesive properties? Okay, so one of the phenomena that it is going to cause is the capillary action. Okay, as you know that the capillary is a small tube, small glass tube where I think we have seen, and if you place this tube in here, then the water molecule itself is going to rise up. We are not applying any external forces on it, remember. Okay, but now cohesive, they are uh, cohesive together, they are binding and they are coming up. Why? Because the water they are attached via the hydrogen bonding, remember. Together they, the hydrogen bondings they are very strong. A single hydrogen bond is very weak, but together they can form a very high, very strong one. So once it will rise up, here there is, as you can see, this is the wall of the capillary. This is the wall of the capillary, and water is getting adhered to this surface. Okay, if the water is not having the adhesive property, then there is no point in rising up of the water. The water will continuously uh, settle down in the under the influence of the gravity. So, such type of action which is taking place without any external force. Remember that there is no external force that is involved. So it is known as the capillary action. So where it is taking place in the nature. So the main thing that you have seen is the transpiration of the water. Remember, the water is present in the soil, okay, and the roots has to absorb the water. Now there is no motor or there is no pump in the plants that is going to pull the water from the roots. So why it is so that without the help of some external forces, the water is moved from the roots towards the leaves, from the roots towards the leaves. So again, as we have discussed, that it is having the cohesive properties. Okay, so the water molecules they will pull themselves up. Okay, as you can see in the figure, cohesive they are taking up, and that this is the wall of the xylem. Okay, xylem is the one which is responsible for the transport of water throughout the plant. Okay, so this is the wall of the xylem. Obviously here water is getting stick to the wall of the xylem because of the adhesive property. So as you can see, it is going to reach till all the plants, till the leaves. It can go up and it can go through different branches. It is only and only possible because it has water has water has cohesive and adhesive properties. Okay. Now, the next thing is that the water has surface tension. So, now you have seen some of the insects that are floating in on water. You have seen that this skin is floating in water. So, how is it possible? Because it is possible because the water has the surface tension. As you can see in this figure, there is a water that is filled. Okay, now the water molecules that are below, they will have forces from all the directions. Okay, but if you can see here, then the water is not having force from the upper layer. Okay, so there is no air liquid interface that is acting over here. So as you can see, then when we insert the capillary, we see that there is a meniscus formation over here. Upper meniscus. Okay, you have seen this mainly in case of the measuring cylinder. Let me draw it. I'm really sorry for my bad drawing. Okay, you have seen that this is a measuring cylinder, and if you fill it with water, then there is a formation of this meniscus. Okay. Okay. So this meniscus, that means you see that there is a bending of the water that is taking place. This is because the water, the molecules, they are pulling them downwards. That's why you have a shape like this. Okay, that's why you are saying shape like this. And this tension that is created is created on the top, on the surface. That's why it is known as the surface tension. Now, because of this, now because of the surface tension, as soon as the animals that are lighter in weight, remember, if the humans they are going to do the same, then they are going to sink in the water. So please remember that the animals, they should be lighter in weight. Okay, the pin, as you can see here, is also lighter in weight. So as soon as they will try to run to walk on the surface of the water, there will be hydrogen bonds. Okay, some of the hydrogen bonds will be broken, but not all the hydrogen bonds will be broken. That's why you see that animals are walking or animals are floating onto the water surface because of the water tension. The next property is that water expands when it freezes. You have seen the best example is ice as compared to the other liquids which contracts. Okay, this is the exception. Water is the only liquid which is going to expand. That means it is going to bulge out, not the word exactly, but yeah, it is going to bulge out when it freezes. So what happens, why it is important to have this phenomena in nature? So water, when it freezes, it is less denser than the water. So ice can float. When you add the ice cubes in the ice, they are floating, right? Because they are less denser than the liquid form. So what is the importance of that in the nature? So just remember this one, that when the water is in the ice form, the hydrogen bonds are quite stable. Okay, they are forming a cube-like structure as you can see in the figure. But when it comes to the liquid water in the liquid state, then they are continuously getting broken, forming, broken, forming, broken, forming. So let's talk about the main importance, that whenever you talk regarding the lake or any sea in the polar countries, when the ice forms, they being denser than the liquid, they are going to float on the surface. So whatever the water that is remaining over here, it's still in the liquid form, because this ice is going to act as insulator. In a way, you can say that it is acting as an insulator. Okay, so the heat that is preserved over here, and whatever the aquatic animals are there, they can live happily and freely. Okay, but imagine if the water was, if the water in ice form was denser, so then what would have happened? It could have sinked in it all over here. Okay, the entire lake would have been frozen with the ice, and then whatever the aquatic animals, aquatic flora and fauna would not be able to survive, and eventually they would have become endangered, or you can say extinct. Next topic is that water has high specific heat capacity. So the word here is specific. That means that we have to measure that how much temperature is required for 1 mole of a substance to increase by 1 degree Kelvin. Now you have seen that the water bodies, okay, the large water bodies, they maintain the terrestrial temperatures and the climate to the moderate one. Or you can say that the not why not all the water is getting evaporated, okay, why the water's temperature is maintained even though there is so much of it, because you know that one water molecule can form hydrogen bonds with four other water molecules. So imagine how many extensive hydrogen bonds can be formed in large water bodies. So because of this extensive hydrogen bondings, they are going to store so much amount of energy. So even though there is extreme heat, not all the water will get converted into the water vapor, and the water body's temperature will be maintained so that the aquatic flora and fauna are still not affected. Here, the one property is that we all know water is a polar solvent. So, as we have discussed, polar meaning that it has a net dipole moment. So, as you can see over here, that this is the electron of the oxygen molecule, and this is the electron of the hydrogen molecule. They are sharing the electrons, and here the electrons, the lone pair of electrons are not shared. That's why unshared electrons, two lone pair of electrons are there. That's why they are having the negative charge, and the hydrogens they are having the positive charge. Okay. So why it is a polar solvent? That means it can dissolve almost all the solutes that are present. So how it is going to dissolve the solutes over there? Let's take the example of sodium chloride. Okay. So as soon as you add sodium chloride in water, as you know that the sodium chlorides are present in the crystal form. Okay, so the chlorine will get dissociated. We remember it as like Na plus and Cl minus in basic terminologies. I'm not going to repeat it. So this Cl minus will get surrounded by the positive ions. Okay, sorry, hydrogen ions, and the sodium ions will get surrounded by this oxygen, and all this crystal structure will eventually will be surrounded like this, and we say that the salt has dissolved in the water. In similar way, water is able to dissolve so many of the solutes that are present. That's why it is known as the polar solvent. What is the importance of this in the human life? We have the transport of glucose, gases, amino acids in our body, and we know that glucose is first solubilized in our blood by before getting transported into the body. So this to dissolve the glucose into the blood, and we know that blood is made up of the water. So basically our glucose is dissolved into the water before transporting it from one place to another place. So that's why the water's polar property is very important for our survival. Now let's have a quick highlights to what we have learned regarding the water's life supporting property. That it is the universal solvent. It has the cohesive property. You know, co means together, where the water molecules are sticking themselves to one another. Adhesive means to stick to some another surface. For example, water molecules sticking to the mirror, or you can say glass. Capillary action. We know that in the plants, transpiration is taking place. water is moved from roots to the leaves or different parts of the plant. Water expands when it freezes, okay, and it has the high heat capacity. And if you have your questions, please email me your questions on my mail ID. I will be happy to help you. Thank you.